Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to show you in this video how to brew a cup of coffee and kind of a more detailed review on this machine. I just did an unboxing video and I did a setup. So when you first get this machine, you got to do kind of a setup and rinse, and it takes a while and it's a little tricky. Check out that video where I show you how to do that. So the machine is all set up, ready to go. It comes with this nice starter kit with pods, which is really nice. You don't have to go out and run out and buy, because these pods, I don't think they sell these pods at Walmart, so you probably gonna have to get them off of Amazon or a different store. But so that's nice. It comes with this starter pack, and we're gonna brew some coffee and espresso shots. So just a quick lesson on these pods. This is Nespresso's newer version, their newer pods. They've got a barcoding down here, and the machine's gonna look at that barcoding and brew according to what size. So if you got coffee pods, espresso pods. So according to whatever size you put in there, it's going to put the correct amount of water through it. Now, Nespresso does have an older line. This is they call this the original line. The pods are smaller. They're metal, but they're smaller. And this was up through 2014, I think. And this is my older Nespresso machine. So the pods would go right here. You can see how they're smaller. But this is my older Nespresso machine, so there's always been some confusion between the original line and the Vertuo line. This is the newer one. Now, these are more expensive. These typically range from about 90 cents up to about $1.30, depending on if you get a coffee or an espresso. Mainly, it has to deal with how much coffee is in there. If there's more coffee in the pod, it's going to be more expensive. These are starting to really come down in price. You can start getting these for around 75 cents. And I've found these at Home Goods and stuff, and I can get them for around 50 cents. So these are still readily available. They're still making these machines. It's just that these pods and these machines mainly deal with like an espresso shot or a lungo shot, which is kind of like a double shot. They kind of switched up their gears, and they said people want coffee. So they came up with these bigger pods, and you're able to do an actual coffee, like a coffee cup full of coffee from this machine. But it also does espresso shots. So if you see these small, see how small that pod is compared to that pod? So that's got a really small amount of coffee in it. You're going to do an espresso shot with that. And they really, they really improve things. See that barcode down there? So this machine is actually, when you put it in, you're going to turn the lever to the right, and you're going to put the pod in. It's actually going to read. So you're going to put it in like that. And when you push this down, it goes down there, and there is something there that reads that barcode. I'm not sure how it does it, but it reads that barcode. And so the machine sets the machine up how to brew this. So for an espresso shot, it's going to run like 1.35 ounces through it. For a coffee, it's going to run... So for a coffee, it runs almost 8 ounces through the 7.77. But the machine is very, very simple, very elegant. You're going to plug it in, and then the light up here, this is your power switch. It's only got one switch. So you're just going to hit that. That's going to turn it on. That light's going to blink at you for just about, 5 or 10 seconds, and then it's going to be steady. That means the water inside here is heated up. You've got this water reservoir. Okay, this is where you're going to fill it up with water, and then when you put it in here, it's got a pump inside here. It's going to suck the water out of the tank and into another tank and heat it up. So when that light is on steady, that lets you know that that tank inside there is up to temperature. This is ready to go. Over here, you've got the ejection pod. So when you lift this up, the pods go back here down the chute. I'm anxious to see how that happens. And then this container here is going to have all your empty pods in it. And it just sits over there on the side. So just a very, very nice looking machine. Very well built. Everything I've kind of messed with, it seems like they've just taken their time with. You've got this tray. Now this tray's got that position, or if you're doing like an espresso shot, it's kind of like a magnet. It just goes up there and kind of snaps, but it's held in there really good. And then the drip tray is removable. It just slides out. Looks like it's dishwasher safe. And you can put a travel mug in there. You're only going to be able to get 8 ounces out of something, but you can put a travel mug in there and get you a little more depth. So again, I don't quite understand all of their, but they're trying to give you some names I'm not real familiar with, and kind of levels of darkness. And then you got decaffeinated. Now, as far as I know, I've looked on Amazon. I only find the Nespresso brand of these type of pods. But it looks like they do give you. So here you have, these are the espresso shots. Kind of like the dark purple, light purple, gold, and red. And then you've got, looks like your flavored drinks. These are your coffees. So these are the coffees up here. It's going to run 7 ounces through all of these up here. It's going to run 1.3 ounces through these. So that's a really, really small amount. And so when you're doing those espressos, you may have gotten the frother. This is the Nespresso frother that goes with it, because you're going to want milk. You're going to want your froth milk with it. So this is what people usually bought that came with it. And so the box talks about this. It says the coffee ones are 7.7, espressos 1.4. It's got new Centrifusion technology, which you can hear it spinning. That's where it talks about capsule specific brewing by the barcode, and it includes a tasting box. So Nespresso might be onto something with this spin technology, because there's a really high-priced coffee maker out there that claims to be the world's best that spins. I think it's called Spin, but so they might have been onto something when they started this. We're going to see how it tastes. So the coffee maker, or this espresso machine, does shut off after, I think, 7 minutes. So the machine turns off by itself after 9 minutes. So I've still got it plugged in. I've got water. Let's hit the power button. It didn't flash because the water is up to temperature, but if you've had it off for a while, that will flash at you for just a little bit till it heats the water up. So this is a really simple thing. It's either got left or right, but we got to insert the pod. So we're going to go to the right, and that lets this lever, that lets it come up. And then you simply take your pod, make sure it's still sealed and everything. You're just going to set it in there. Then you're going to push this down until it snaps. Then you got to turn this lever all the way over till it locks. Make sure that line is lined up. And then you're simply going to press the button. It's going to spin. So you hear like a pump running. Now it's spinning it again. So this coffee definitely looks different when it's being brewed. It's not super loud as it's brewing. It just kind of hear a spinning and a pump running. So you can kind of see the bubbles are kind of melting back into the coffee. Again, this is going to be almost 8 ounces. This is kind of a standard coffee cup size. 8 ounces is what I do my Keurig K-cups at. Wow, that looks like a really nice cup of coffee. I mean, if we're just going by looks alone. So now it sounds like an airplane taking off. Wow. Fancy. I mean, that coffee cup just looks beautiful. I don't know how else to put it. I've never really seen coffee like that. Okay, so let's eject the pod. I was anxious to see this. So when we're done, we're going to just move the lever there, and then let's go up. And let's see. Oh, it does. It was kind of on these little rails, and it just kind of slid back into that. That's awesome. That's really cool. It doesn't make a big mess. So let's look at the up here. Yeah. I don't see any coffee grounds anywhere, nothing. Huh. Smells really good. Okay, so let's taste this. Oh, that smells like a really good cup of coffee. Yeah, that's a pretty good cup of coffee. It's a little different having that kind of like coffee froth on top. But it's very, very good. Man, that's different. I was not expecting it to taste that good. Okay, so I added a little cream and sugar on my cream and sugar. So when you stir in your cream or sugar, that kind of froth goes out the way at the top. You don't get quite as much of it. Yeah. That's a very good tasting cup of coffee. So I used the blue one. It says an audacious blend of Arabica's full-bodied coffee with cereal notes, slight fruitness. So it's a 7 out of 11. Huh. So to me, that it tastes like a dark roast if I had to compare it to anything. It's definitely darker than Folgers. I'm kind of a Folgers guy, and it's definitely more of a dark roast. But I don't taste any of the fruitiness or anything. I don't taste any kind of aroma or anything. It's mainly just like a dark roast coffee. It definitely doesn't have that Starbucks kind of burnt taste to it. It tastes like a really good cup of coffee. Okay, so I took that pod out of that container that we just did. I like to cut these open. I like to see what's inside. If you're new to my channel, I always cut my K-cups open, and I cut open the other Nespresso pods. I just love to see what's going on inside. These things seem so intricate. So that's where it pierced it. Huh. So it doesn't pierce the bottom. So it kind of pierces the side and the middle. So it's doing all the extraction from the top. Huh. So there's the cup. So if you were going to recycle this is how you would recycle it. You would cut the foil off. You could recycle this. This is all metal. I think they have a mail-in program where you mail in your pods. But there's the coffee grounds. Man, that looks like really fine coffee. And it's not real damp. Like, they get all the water out of it. Huh. So let's take a brand new pod and let's just compare it. So the coffee grounds actually look kind of light. I was expecting them to look a little darker. So that's what the inside of the pod looks like. I don't see any filter, anything else, just this. So here's before it's been brewed. It smells really good. And then there's after it's been brewed. Huh. So again, I can see where this machine, you're going to be limited. You're going to have to make sure you buy, if you want coffee, you're going to have to buy the coffee pods. And when you want espresso, you've got to buy the espresso pods. The machine is not going to let you do a coffee with this because of that barcoding, and the machine's going to sense that and only run 1.4 ounces through this. Okay, we've done the coffee. Now let's do, I think this is the purple right there, yeah. Yeah, it says on it, Alto. This is going to be an espresso. So when I put this in, it's only going to do 1.3 or 1.4 ounces. So again, we're going to just go to the right, that kind of it spring loads up. Just put the pot in there, real simple. We're going to push this down. Okay, the machine turned on, so now I'm going to turn it back on. Water's up to temperature. This is glowing steady. That means it's ready. And we're going to turn this all the way. Leave it there. It stays there. And then I'm going to move this up. I've got my little espresso cup. And we're going to do an espresso shot. Sounds like an airplane taking off. So in less than a minute, you've got an espresso shot. One thing I forgot on the coffee was temperature. I'll do another coffee. So yeah, for an espresso shot, that's not bad. 140, yeah, that's about standard. And so there you've got an espresso shot with some foam on it. Okay, so we did our espresso shot. Let's eject it, turn this, and then there it goes. Now our light's on steady. I'm going to do a coffee and we'll check the temperature of the coffee. So again, I'm just going to open it, put the coffee pot in, just close it until it snaps. Turn this all the way over, locked, and press the button. Again, this is brewing a coffee. So while it's brewing, it's about 155. That's about what I'm seeing. So towards the middle, it does get up to about 160. It's about done. 162, 163. Yeah, that's pretty good for a coffee. So I've never really seen, so look at that. That looks identical to the picture. Most machines don't replicate what their pictures on the boxes are, but this one actually does. Absolutely just looks like a beautiful cup of coffee. Okay, one more feature I'm going to show you. So say you want a little more coffee out of that same pod. So while everything is still installed, you're just going to hit this button one time. It's going to add a little more water to the pod. Now that's going to be pretty weak coming out. And then when you're done topping it off, like here we got some coming out, just press it again and it stops. So that didn't add a whole lot, but they do give you the option, and I could have done that with the espresso shot too. I should have shown you that. So again, while you're still everything is still locked, everything is still installed, just hit that button, just hit it one time, and it'll start the brew process again, and some stuff will start, water will come out. And then when you think you've got it topped off where you want it, just hit the button again. Now the manual does show you a way that you can program the water. They call that the water level. So how tall or how big do you want this coffee to be? I'm going to do another video on that. It talks about it in the manual, programming the water volume. So again, the factory default, this machine will turn itself off after 9 minutes. I'm going to do another video that's called the energy saving. I'm going to do another video on how you can change that. So this is a very, very nice machine. These machines are kind of expensive. The pods are a little more expensive, but you really do get kind of a really good cup of coffee. And I'm just not used to a coffee being brewed kind of like that. But it tastes really good. And the espresso shot's good. I'm going to be doing some drinks with the espresso shots. I'm going to make a vanilla latte and some other things. Like I said, I've got the frother. You would have had to buy this separately, but this is the Nespresso frother. So I'm going to do a review on that. And we're going to use that for our lattes and cappuccinos. But this thing is very versatile. I think, you know, they came up with something that people wanted coffee, and they want to be able to do their espresso shot. So this is definitely, I think they did something good here. Where their old line, the pods, they just couldn't get coffee out of them. So this is kind of why I think they went to this new line. So again, and then that pod's going to fall back. So there's not a whole lot to clean up. Check out my other video where I do a cleaning. That's where you lower this and you press this button 3 times really fast, and it'll run fresh water through here. But that takes about 5 minutes, and you'll get about 10 ounces of water through there. So make sure you've got plenty of water. Clean up, like this would be dishwasher safe. This would be too. This thing, it didn't make a big mess. I've had some other machines, like Keurig machines, they just kind of splatter all over, and kind of the cheaper Keurig machines really splatter a lot. You know, this one, it just seems really nice. So thanks everybody for watching. I really enjoyed doing this video. If you got any comments on this machine or something you'd like a video made about it, leave them in the comments below. I check them on a daily basis. Thanks everybody for your support, and if you could, please like and subscribe.